Hey there, nation, and welcome to the show where we help you to play miniatures wargaming on a budget. It is I, Commander Cheapskate, and we are back in the episode of Way of the Underhive. This series is dedicated to helping brand new players to learn Necromunda, building their starting rosters, and learn more about the game mechanics of their favorite gangs. And on today's episode, we will discuss playing a Merchant Guild Outcast Gang in the Aranthian Succession. We will discuss the positive and negative aspects of playing in the Aranthian Succession, the impact that the campaign setting has upon Guild Outcast Gangs, discuss alliances, brutes, hang-arounds, and hired guns, give you a 2,400 point starting roster that you can use in your very first campaign. We'll talk about how to use this roster on the battlefield and how to develop the gang as your campaign progresses. And as always, we will provide critical information that you can use in your future campaigns. Now, because this video will be a little bit more of a deeper dive, I will put timestamps in the description box down below, so that way you can navigate to the portion that most appeals to you. So that being said, I have a couple of questions to ask you. Do you want to play as a guild of some sort? Do you want to play as a delegation? Are simply having guild allies too boring? You want to actually play that guild, like the Water Guild, and you want to build some interesting and powerful builds? Well, let's get started and talk about exactly how we can achieve that in the Aranthian Succession. So first of all, let's talk about the positives of playing in the Aranthian Succession. One of the biggest positives, of course, is having anywhere between 2,000 to 2,400 credits to build your gangs. Depending if you're staying on in the Underhive the entire time, it's 2,000 credits. If you're venturing out of the Wastelands, it's 2,400. And the nice thing about this is that this is a situation where you have a quality gang versus a gang of quantity. Now, in the campaign setting, whether it says that you recruit course one leader, but you double the number of champions that you can hire in a gang, as well as your fighters, prospects, as well as your gangers and juvies. So because of that, a lot of people had the original understanding of actually creating a 1,000 point gang and doubling it, meaning buying double the box sets and double the miniatures in order to play in this campaign. However, though, that's an actually incorrect viewpoint, because what you want to do instead is just focus on the quality of your troops, stick with a normal size gang that you always have, but instead of actually hiring more fighters, just spend more credits on those individual fighters and give them everything they need to be successful. Things like better weapons, better armor, better war gear, things that you would not normally buy at the beginning of a campaign, like respirators and photogoggles and Medicaid kits, etc. And that's probably the biggest positive of playing in the Aranthian Succession, is creating these really powerful gangs. Now, there are also some negatives of playing in the Aranthian Succession. Probably the biggest one you got to worry about is the balance bandwagon. Balance bandwagon, people are going to be really complaining about some of the things you can create with the Aranthian Succession campaign setting. So because of that, you do have to worry about that, especially if the people who are part of the balance bandwagon don't have upgrades to their gangs. Unfortunately, the Aranthian Succession is quite slow of releasing new updates for all the gangs equally, so because of that, there will be some players who might be playing gangs that don't receive any upgrades from Aranthian Succession, and some of them might complain. If you do run into these balanced bandwagon types, just ignore their maturity and just continue on trucking like always. Now, when most people think about the Aranthian Succession with that 2,000 to 2,400 point increase, a lot of people think you have to double the number of fighters with the number of individual miniatures you have to purchase for your gang, but that it's incorrect. Like we said before, we're going for a quality of build rather than quantity, and so because of that, we're going to just fix that up right up. Now, there's another thing that also might concern you is narrative-based gameplay. If you're not a really big fan of narrative play, this might not be the campaign for you, and the reason why is because there's a lot of narrative scenarios and game mechanics involved. So now that we're going to talk about the positive and negative aspects of playing in the Aranthian Succession, let's talk about playing a Guild Outcast gang in this campaign setting. So let's go ahead and talk about exactly what Guild Outcast Gangs are capable of achieving in Aranthian Succession. First of all, when you create a Guild Outcast Gang, you have to figure out what merchant guild you're going to belong to, because it's going to have a huge impact on your gang overall, especially as the campaign develops. The first thing you'll be able to do, of course, is to purchase cult icons. You can be able to purchase that now for your gangs for 40 credits. And like I said before, picking your guild is really important, because whatever weapons and war gear are found in the delegation associated with that guild, you can use in your own gang as well, regardless of the rarity or the legality of the item that's being purchased. So for example, if you want to use the weapons equipment like needle weapons from the Water Guild, you want to include that in your gang, make an alliance with the Water Guild, be a Water Guild Outcast Gang, for example. Another thing that's also interesting is because you do have these really cool weapons and war gear options available to you because of the Outcast delegations, you could use that to fully outquit a gang and also your vehicles as well, and give yourself a really cool boon and some bonuses in order to help you be successful. successful. Now, with that being said, another nice thing about this is you also have vehicles that you can now add to your gangs. Before, when you played Outcast Gangs, you're pretty much restricted to the Underhive, but now vehicles also open up that whole new entry of diversification in your gang list. So that's another thing that's really awesome as well. So now that we're done talking about being Guild Outcasts in the Aranthian Succession, let's talk about your alliances real quick. Now then, let's talk about alliances real quick. You're going to be extremely limited in your alliances because the only alliance you're allowed to make is whatever guild you belong to. So for example, if you're going to play a Water Guild Outcast gang, the only alliance you can make is with the Water Guild as well. So it's going to be very limiting of what you have. So choosing the correct guild to belong to is going to have a big impact on what kind of weapons and war gear is available to your gang, as well as who you can ally with as well. Now, you do have the option to play what is known as a delegation gang, and a delegation gang, of course, is where you take the guild delegates that would normally show up as an ally and use that for the core of your gang. So, for example, if you're to play a Water Guild Outcast gang, you can make your Master Nautican your leader, as well as the Siphonite as one of your champions, and the Subnautica would be one of your gangers, for example. Then you build the rest of your gang around that core. Now, that is a good way to get some really powerful fighters on the tabletop. However, if you decide to do that, you cannot have a delegation from the same guild to help you out later on. So going back to my Water Guild example, if you decide to use the Water Guild delegation to form the core of your gang, and you're allied with the Water Guild, you don't get another siphoning delegation to help you out. So you gotta keep that in mind too whenever you decide to use your alliances. Another thing you also have to worry about too are brutes, hanger-ons, as well as hired guns. For the most part, the rogue dock is worth their weight in gold, so always go to rogue docks whenever you can because they can save your fighters who are critically injured. Agitators as well as propagandists make really good assets for outcast gangs as well because the boost that they provide your gang with reputation as well as recruitment. So that's something you might want to take a look at as well. And at the same time, when it comes to brutes, you can only recruit generic brutes such as ambots and ogrins and things of that nature, which are not bad by any means because generic brutes are actually quite good on their own. So just keep that in mind if you decide to play an outcast gang of any sort. So now that we're done talking about the brutes, hanger-ons, and hired guns, let's go and talk about an example of a 2,400 point starting roster. So with this list, this is going to be a Guild Outcast Gang starting roster for Necromunda Aranthian Succession for 2023. This is what we like to call Mercator Umbris, which is a Guild of Coin Outcast game that's going to be rated at 2,400 points. Now what you're going to do is you're going to take one of the Dramatis Personae characters in the Book of the Outcast named Hagar Freelord. He's going to be your leader. He's a character called the Master of Mercator Umbris. He is a disgraced Guild of Coin guilder, so it kind of fits narratively to make your alliance with the Guild of Coin and to be from it. Now he's going to cost you 195 credits. This fighter is going to be the leader of your gang. He's got the Mastermind archetype. He's also going to be equipped with an armored undersuit, which are bumping up his cost, as well as mesh armor. He comes with twin plasma pistols, base, as well as a respirator. He has the Overseer skill, and you give him the Fixer skill with his Mastermind archetype, and they also have ex-Guilder Armory special rule as well as Well Connected. Well Connected is nice because every so long as he survives in a scenario, he earns D3 times 10 credits for your gang, and when combined with the Fixer skill, that's an additional D3 times 10 credits as well. And with his ex-Guilder Armories, he can purchase any weapon of rarity value of 8 for any of his fighters in his gang, which is really, really powerful. Really could be some good stuff. Now today I have four Outcast champions in this one. Outcast champion number 1 is going to cost you 310 credits. This fighter is going to be armed with a Survivor archetype with mesh armor as well as a mining laser with a dispenser, so that way firing that mining laser becomes a basic action. You also equip this guy with a stub gun with dum-dum bullets for backup weapon. He's also got a cult icon as well as the Nerves of Steel skill, so that way he has larger activations, and if he gets hit and pinned, he can escape it with a cool test. Outcast champion number 2 is going to cost you 185 credits. This is going to have the Mastermind archetype. This fighter is equipped with mesh armor as well as a grenade launcher with frag and crack grenades, a stub gun, as well as a cult icon as well, so that way they have larger group activations, and they also have the Overwatch skill, so that way they can interrupt enemy activations with a grenade launcher. Outcast champion number 3 is to cost you 190 credits, as same thing with Outcast champion number 4. Both of these guys are equipped exactly the same with gunslinger archetypes, mesh armor for that 5-up armor save, autogun flamer combo weapons, because those are special weapons you can purchase for your gang with a combination of autogun and flamer, stun guns for backup weapons, as well as the fast shot skill. So these guys can fire their flamers / autoguns twice per activation. After that, you're going to have 6 Outcast Hive Scum. Outcast Hive Scum number 1 and 2 are equipped exactly the same at 85 credits apiece. They're both equipped with mesh armor, last guns with hotshot last packs to give them strength for shooting attacks, as well as stub guns. Outcast Hive Scum number 3 and 4 are going to cost exactly the same, both costing 105 credits apiece. Both have mesh armor for that 5-up armor save, as well as bolt guns for that reliable medium to close range shooting at strength 4, as well as stub guns for backup weapons. And then lastly, Hive's Outcast Scum number 5 and 6 are both going to cost 145 points apiece. Both these guys are armed with mesh armor, as well as stub gun plasma combat pistols, so those things are really awesome as well, be able to shoot plasma gun shots, and also have chain swords for melee weapons, as well as blasting charges for that great 5-inch blast radius full of strength 5 goodness. After that, you will also have a vehicle which is going to be driven by a Guild of Coin Haulers, which costs you 605 credits. The Guild of Coin Hauler will be driving a Cargo 8 Ridge Hauler with a Munitorium armor container, a blade of armor, so that way they can worry about those non-glancing hits. They also got tire claws for better handling, engine shell for protection against damage. You also have a grenade launcher with frag and crack grenades as a weapon, and at the same time, you're also putting a Ridge Hauler trailer on this vehicle, increasing its hull points, and you're also equipping it with a Prometheum tank, so that way you can drill up additional funds and also refill any of your blaze weapons as well. Now you can also go spend 50 credits on a road dog, so that way that character has last pistol, Medicae, kit, and Medicae to patch up any characters that you might have. Now, assuming that your campaign does allow you to take guild alliances, you're going to make a guild alliance with the Guild of Coin. You're doing this for two reasons. One, because of the money that will be generated by the alliance with this gang, and at the same time it also fits narratively too with the leader of this gang as well. Now, the nice thing about the Guild of Coin is that you do get the tollway special rules, which means that whenever you earn credits in a scenario, you get to add a d6 to the roll of those credits you earn, so you can accrue wealth very, very quickly. Now, there are some drawbacks, of course. You do have to do guard duty, which means that on a d6 roll, you have to roll every single time you pick a scenario. On a 4-up, you can choose whatever scenario you want, but if you lose, you have to choose between a looters, a smash and grab, a caravan heist, or escort mission, and you do have to play the defender. And you also have the collecting tolls drawback, which means that you owe this guild D3 times 10 credits every single time you get money in a scenario, so you do have to worry about that as well. Now, with this guild alliance, you do have the toll collectors delegation. It consists of a master of coin with last pistol, power knife, a displacer field, a gun skull, escape artist, and overseer skills, as well as a highways and byways scenario, which allows you to help you kind of choose what kind of scenarios you're going to play. And at the same time, you also have a skinflint. He's got mesh armor. He's equipped with plasma pistol, fighting knight, occult icon, and the lie low skill. And then you have Groveler number 1 and 2, who are both equipped exactly the same, with both with long rifles, both with fighting knives, as well as a lie low skill. And this is the list that's going to make up the Accredited Armbus, our example of a 2,400 point starting roster for a Merchant Guild Outcast Gang. Now let's go ahead and talk about the gang overview real quick. So this gang is going to consist of 4 fire teams. You have 1 assault fire team and 3 support fire teams. Assault fire team consists of Hagar Freelord, your leader, as well as Outcast champions number 3 and 4. Those are the guys who are armed with the outer guns of the flamers, as well as Outcast Hive Scum 5 and 6. Those are the guys who are armed with the stub gun, plasma pistol combo weapons, chain swords, and blasting charges. Now, support fire team number 1 consists of Outcast champion number 1. This is the champions armed with the mining laser, as well as Outcast Hive Scum number 1 and 3, and those are the guys who are armed with the hot shot last gun, as well as a bolt gun. Support fire team number 2 will consist of Outcast champion number 2, which is the champion armed with the grenade launcher, as well as Outcast Hive Scum 2 and 4, which one has the hot shot last gun, and the other one has a bolt gun. And then lastly, you have support fire team number 3, which is going to be your master of coin, your skinflint, as well as your grovelers from the toll collectors delegation, and they're going to be mounted on your Guild of Coin Ridge Hauler, so that way they can move around and provide suppressive fire. Now, the entire gang is going to be mounted upon the Cargo 8 Ridge Hauler, and in combination with its Munitorium armored container, as well as your Promethean tank, you will never run out of ammunition for your powerful shooting weapons, and you'll be able to load every single time, which is going to be awesome for you to do that. At the same time, the Guild of Coin Hauler moves towards the enemy, allowing your assault fire team to dismount, as well as support fire team number 1 and fire support team number 3. Now, support fire team number 3 maneuvers around the battlefield, allowing the weapons on board the vehicle to strike using the Master of Coin's Overseer ability. In addition, the Skinflint activates the Grovelers and engage distance with long shooting with their long rifles while protecting the Master of Coin with his plasma pistol. Now, the assault fire team assaults straight towards the enemy, lobbing blasting charges and setting enemies on fire with the champion's flamers from their combo weapons. Hagar Freelord and the rest that then charge in and slaughter all who stand in the way with plasma pistol fire, as well as close combat. Meanwhile, support fire team number 2 and 3 move to opposite flanks, catching the enemy in a crossfire. You'll have acetone mining laser, as well as grenade launcher, as well as 2 hotshot last guns and 2 bolters to cause all kinds of chaos with strength 4 weapons. And the champions also have occult icons for those group larger group activations as well. Now this list will dominate when it comes to shooting in both the close, medium, and long ranges, and you'll have access to the firepower to make all the difference with your leader's special rules to equip your gang with even more powerful weapons as the gang develops. And speaking about gang development, this particular build is all about one thing and one thing only, and that is raid and trade. You're either raiding or you're trading with someone to make money. Because the reason why is this gang is here to earn coin, and they'll take down anyone who tries to stand in their way in order to achieve that. Just to give you guys an idea of how much money this gang generates at the end of every scenario, Hagar Freelord with his Fixer skill gives you plus D3 times 10 credits. At the same time, it also earn additional D6 times 10 credits from Hagar Freelord's Will Connected special rule as well. You also earn 2 D3 times 10 credits from the Valuable Cargo special rule for the Cargo 8 Ridge Hauler, and at the same time you'll also earn another D6 times 10 credits from the Lifeblood of the Waste special rule for the Cargo 8 Ridge Hauler's Promethean tank. Now the reason why you get twice as much Valuable Cargo special rule for the Ridge Hauler because you have a Minotaurian cargo armor container as well as a Promethean tank on board that vehicle, which means just on static basis alone you will earn 3d3 times 10 credits and 2d6 times 10 credits for every game, assuming that your Cargo 8 Ridge Hauler wasn't wrecked, and this list is the king of earning that grind mindset with that passive income. In addition, your Guild of Coin Alliance will also help you provide the following with gaining money as well. You earn D6 to whatever credit roll you need for the credit rewards from a scenario with your Guild of Coin Alliance. Now, you do have to worry about taking away anywhere between 10 to 30 credits for the collecting tolls of your guild coin, but you have so much money making potential, and that's before you get to your territories or to the scenario rules. That's not really going to matter. It's going to be negligible at best. Now, with Hagar Freelord's Ex-Gilded Armory special rule, you can equip Rarity 8 items for your gang no matter what. So not only will you have enough coin to generate for yourself, but you have enough coin to buy these weapons for your gang as well, and you can equip your fighters to dominate on the battlefield. I would start with either purchasing infrasights or photo goggles for all the fighters of the gang, so that way you have reliable shooting and visibility conditions throughout different scenarios. I would then follow up with respirators as well with this gang to deal with any environmental effects as well as gas weapons that you might run into. You can also switch out the autogun combo weapons that the champions carry with bolter combo weapons, as well as dum-dum rounds for all the stub guns for reliable strength 4 attacks in and out of combat, as well as short range shooting. Now from there you can purchase heavier weapons for your Cargo 8 Ridge Hauler. I think heavy stubber is actually the best way to go, but you can choose whatever style best fits for you. After all, you'll be making enough money with this gang in terms of credits in order to buy whatever weapons that you could want. And that is the gang development for the Mercator Umbris gang build. So in conclusion, upgrading your gang for the Aranthian Succession is a great way to fully equip your gang with powerful weapons, war gear, as well as vehicles, and you're going to see some really insane combinations and some really cool lists that people come up with, which is only going to add the variety of spice and flavor to this game that already exists already. At the same time, there's always new rules dropping all the time for the Aranthian Succession with new fighters, weapons, equipment, skills, some cases vehicles with Dramatis Personae, etc. And just remember, when it comes to the Aranthian Succession, it's all about the quality of your fighters versus the quantity of your fighters, so keep that in mind as you build your guilds as well. And because more things are developing in the Aranthian Succession, we'll put out new material whenever those materials do drop from Games Workshop, so keep an eye out for those and help you out with this campaign setting. So that's good for this one, you guys. As always, please feel free to like, comment, and or subscribe. Your guys' input is valuable to us always. Also check us out on our other social media platforms at Facebook, Instagram, as well as blogger.com if you want to keep up to date with our current projects and the hobby side of what we do here on this channel. That's good for this one, you guys. I am Commander Chiefskate. I will catch you guys in the next one. Peace out and stay classy.